Nice.
Howdy, man. I met your Grand's tomb. How are you? How you doing, bud? Okay. What's your name? Bill.
Dress it up! Hard! Dress!
Watch for wires.
We're here at the Pennsylvania Monument with Harry Spurnley of the Mifflin Guard.
Sergeant Major.
Sergeant Major. Thank you, sir. I understand that you resemble...
Minnesota Monument.
Could you begin again? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Right over here is the Minnesota Monument. First Minnesota was in reserve behind some other troops that were up here in front of them. The other troops were getting banged up pretty bad. They started to fall back. First Minnesota knew they had to buy time to hold the line. Their colonel ordered a charge. They went forward. They started out in a regular battle line, colors out in front, guidons out in front, the colonel leading. They started down this little swale. Just before they got to the fence, they went to the double quick. And they went towards that wood line over there. They went into the fight with a little over 300 men. They came out of the fight with about 125 left standing. Most of the rest were killed or wounded. They took horrendous casualties. And that's only one small part of what happened here. This battlefield, along with every other battlefield during the American Civil War, saw some of the most horrible, maiming, wounding, and slaughter that ever happened on this continent. And they did it to preserve this union that's now known as the United States of America. Had it not been for what they did here, the United States as we know it might not exist. We could possibly be vassal states of some European power. We might even be minions of the German Empire or the Nazi Empire, whichever you want to call it. But we're not, because these boys fought here and they stood their ground. When these first Minnesota boys went forward, they bought enough time to get reinforcements into this area to plug what could have been an absolutely fatal gap to the Union Army. Just like the fight down here on the Round Tops. Just like the fights over on Culp's Hill. The fights up on Cemetery Hill. The first, the second, and the third day fight here at this beautiful, beautiful farmland has done so much and made such a difference in what America is. That quite a few of us feel compelled, feel duty-bound, honor-bound to keep the memory of these men alive. It's so amazing to think about what they did here. 160,000 men, both Union and Confederate, fought their hearts out gave their blood, gave their energy, gave themselves. They had a question to answer. And they answered that question with every ounce of energy, every ounce of heart and soul that they had. Now, it's true, there were shirkers, there were cowards, there were people that ran away. But by the time of this battle, all of these men were battle-hardened veterans. They knew, they'd seen the sights. They saw their friends horribly mangled. They saw their neighbors blown to pieces. Almost every company of men came from the same neighborhood. In the cities, in the country, in the farming communities. And they were familiar with everybody in their companies. They were friends, they were comrades, they were neighbors, they were cousins, they were brothers. There were whole families, fathers, sons. And they came here not because they wanted to, not because they were ordered to, but because they had to. I will never ever have the words to express my admiration for the courage, the personal fortitude. Every word I use seems to be inadequate. And I'm sorry, I can't help that. There just isn't enough praise I can heap on the soldiers that came out here, that fought, died, that were ruined for life, that were changed forever by what happened here, what they saw. I mean, I really don't want to give you numbers because I'm not sure that anything I give you would be absolutely correct. But I will tell you that these fellows have to be remembered. What they did has to be remembered. Who they are, who they were, has to be remembered. A lot of people refer to Civil War reenacting as a hobby. And I'm going to use a word I used a little earlier. It's actually an avocation. It's a duty. It's something that we have to do. Some people take it in different degrees. Some people take it very seriously. I have a ball doing this. But always, my heart, in my mind, are these men. Every monument you see on this field was put up by those men because they knew they didn't want to be forgotten. They know what they did here. And it is our sacred duty not to let that be forgotten, not to let that be lost in a dry history book. We, and I know this may not be true for everybody, but I'm going to say we in a blanket statement do have, as a point of honor, a real duty to these men. They did something spectacular here. They did something spectacular on every battlefield they fought in, from Bull Run to Petersburg to Appomattox. And I guess it's more than just an admiration. I guess I actually have to say that I have a deep, unabiding, unrelenting love for the brave, stalwart, honorable, wonderful men that fought here. You see kids today playing video games where they just go in and kill people. But they're not real people, they're video people. These guys were out here killing and being killed. Today, a lot of people think nothing of it. They hear the reports on the television, on the radio, they see it in the newspapers, you know, such and such a murder happened here, such and such a murder happened there, 3 people killed in a holdup, road rage. These men didn't kill because they wanted to. These men killed simply because they had to. They had no choice. There's a man over there with a rifle, and he's shooting at me. Well, God damn it, I'm not going to let him get away with it. I'm shooting him back. And if I hit him, all well and good. I don't want to kill him. But by God, if I have to, that's what I've got to do. The world today is so much more insensitive. And there's proof of that. There's written proof of that. You can see it. If you read the letters that these soldiers wrote home and feel the emotion that they put into those letters when they were talking about their friends and neighbors that were killed or wounded badly, or how Johnny died in a hospital from pneumonia or dysentery. You would be hard-pressed to find it in anybody's heart today. But fortunately, there are a few people out here who know really ugly. Death and maiming and warfare and violence can be. We're not here to really glorify the violence. We're here to do honor to the men who fought here. We're here to do honor to the ideals that they stood for. We're here because we believe in what they did. We simulate the battles. We simulate blood and horror. We have surgeons who cut arms and legs off. But there is absolutely no way you can ever imagine the real horror, the real pain and suffering, the real emotion that went through the hearts of every man that picked up a gun in order to preserve this nation. I spoke a little earlier. I said I have an absolute love for them. And that love gets stronger every time I sit down in a place like this and just look at where they were, what they did. And I can see those hundreds and thousands of men in their battle lines, flags flying. And I can feel the emotions that they felt. I can feel the fear. I can feel the rage. I can feel the pure hatred of the enemy. But at the same time, at night, sitting in camp, I can feel the same camaraderie that they actually expressed with each other back and forth across the lines, with the taunting, with the, Hey, Billy, I got some Richmond papers over here. You got some coffee? Yeah, Johnny, I'll trade you. Even though it was strictly against orders. They were all the same people. Might have been from different geographical locations, but they had the same source. They just had different ideas about it. And those different ideas came at loggerheads. And they resulted in one of the most horrendous, ugliest episodes in the history of this country. But as ugly as it was, a character grew out of it. And that character needs to be reinforced now. I wouldn't say anything like, ban all those violent video games and that stuff. It just doesn't work. Can't do it. Won't happen. But educate your children. Educate them. Take the time to show them what love is, what honor is. They need it. They got a rough road to hoe. And I'm not really sure where I can go from here. I've told you just about everything.
Please. See you later. Okay, bye.
How's everything going at command headquarters, sir?
No complaints.
Do you have any comments to make about how it's been going so far?
Super. Excellent.
Could you talk a little bit about what the response has been at this point?
Well, we don't know what the response has been. We just know that we put it out all over the world. We were speculating yesterday on whether somewhere in China or Russia or Poland or some unknown place somebody was watching this yesterday and caught a little fire about the living history of the United States. But we can only speculate. We won't have reports for a while.
I suggest you reserve all your water and ice. It's desperately needed because they're not bringing any more. They are not bringing any more. They can't get it in, so we just go off and get it.
Before they left camp. If they'd have watered down at camp, they would have needed this quickly.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Well, we had a medical emergency. That's what I was saying.
1,000 yards.
We're gone. Oh my God, so my guy's back there. See him back there?
Keep the base real good tight.
Okay, 100 yards. 900 yards. Drop of the flag. Number 4. On a drop of the flag. Number 4. American Battalion, fire! Battalion, fire. Ready, sir. Off the flag. Fire on the drop of the flag. Not firing! Oh, shell! 800 yards! Secure! Cease fire!
Line up on the ammo box.
Okay, 900 yards. Cease fire!
Okay, sir.
Our section alone. We're no blame mushes.
Let it crack or something, but that didn't happen to the other one. That's our spot. Stevenson must have told me to work with the pressure.
Rally around this battle flag. Bring up the center! All right, boys, slow down. Slow down, boys. Slow down. Guys! Halt!
On him, on him. On your captain, on your captain, on your captain, on your captain.
Not a race now, though, boys.
Your captain. On your captain. Close down, close left, going left, going left. Dress in cover, dress in cover, boys. Cover down. Boys, cover down.
Back in line. Rest of the ring. Steady, boys.
What?
Forward, boys.
Right shoulder shift! No stop, no stop. Keep your formation, keep your formation. Let's go, keep your formation. Keep your formation. Don't get squeezed, don't get squeezed. Keep left a little bit.
Just follow forward.
Forward march, forward march.
That's it. Follow the captain.
Prepare to advance. wasn't enough time.
Watch the dead boys.
Water.
That's the line.
That's the line. Cheers for Jeff Davis! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip
That's one of the best I've seen ever.
You really look good. The numbers we had, I thought it looked wonderful. The guys did a good job coming across that field, didn't they? I thought we enjoyed it. We will. Thank you again. And I'll pass. Chuck will get an after-action report. And our hats off to you, gentlemen. Everything you've done to help this event come across, really. See you again. We're going to make it. That's the best thing.
What do you guys say behind the wall? Folks, behind the wall. Everybody got to stay behind the wall.
Can't walk over there?
No, everybody needs, you got to go back that way. Hey, folks, everybody's got to stay behind the wall. On the wall.
How's that? I mean, where is it?
Am I?
The older I get, the simpler it is for life.
I
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Countdown, just give it 2 minutes.
2 minutes. You guys have to stay down. You have to get the pro positions.
down in front.
Sorry guys, I tried. Good shot.
Where's the guy that's in bullpen? Hey, what? Why is it like moving like that? Let's hang something on it. Yeah.
Hold it down back and I'll catch it with I checked it out.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise you can see what we're up to. That's why they're there now.
All right.
1 minute.
Ready?
Third of the way.
Okay, good.
2,400 feet to the near side.
Yeah, they should do glass, I think. What happened?
She looked over at me.
Oh. Are you ready? Ready? Yeah, you'll hear cannons go off about 10 seconds before. I don't want to be here by the tree.
Yeah, that's your way. Great.
There's the cannons, 10 seconds.
Hey, come on, behind the wall. Behind the wall.